Welcome back to my channel Knowledge Chronicle.
Picture a silent corner of space, a dark, cold cloud floating quietly for millions of years. No light, no movement, nothing. And then suddenly, gravity wakes up. The cloud collapses, heat rises, and a star is born. But that same star, after a long life, ends with an explosion so massive that it can outshine an entire galaxy. Today on Knowledge Chronicle, we uncover the full journey, how stars are born, how they live, and how the biggest ones die as a supernova. Star birth. From dust to fire. Every star starts inside something called a molecular cloud, also known as a nebula. It's a huge region filled with hydrogen gas and tiny dust particles. Think of it like a cold fog spread across light years. But this cloud isn't always stable. Sometimes a nearby supernova shockwave or collision with another cloud disturbs it. Once disturbed, gravity begins pulling the gas inward. This process is called gravitational collapse. As the gas falls in, it compresses and heats up. This forms a growing hot sphere in the center called a protostar. At this stage, the star hasn't started shining through fusion yet. It's like a baby still forming inside the womb, growing, gathering material, but not alive in the stellar sense. Surrounding this forming star, a spinning accretion disk appears. In real space, planets and moons are born from this leftover disk later. Now the protostar's core keeps heating as more matter collapses. When the core reaches roughly 10 million Kelvin, something dramatic happens. Nuclear fusion begins. Fusion is the process where hydrogen atoms combine to form helium, releasing massive amounts of energy. This moment marks the official birth of a star. Once fusion begins, a stable balance forms. Gravity pushes inward, while fusion pushes outward. This perfect balance is called hydrostatic equilibrium. The star enters its longest and most peaceful stage, the main sequence. Our sun is currently in this phase and will stay here for about 10 billion years. But the future of a star depends on a simple factor. How massive is it? Even a small change in mass completely changes its life story. Stars like our sun, well, they fuse hydrogen slowly and live for billions of years. After the hydrogen runs out, the core contracts and the outer layers expand, forming a red giant. Now, massive stars, which are about 8 times the sun or more, burn fuel extremely fast and go through multiple fusion stages. Helium, carbon, oxygen, neon, silicon, each forming heavier elements. These stars become red supergiants, incredibly large and bright. An example is Betelgeuse in the Orion constellation, a red supergiant that's nearing the end of its life. The final stages of a star's life can be gentle or violent, depending on its mass. For stars like the Sun, they never explode. Instead, they expand into a red giant, then shed their outer layers, creating a glowing shell called a planetary nebula. The remaining core becomes a white dwarf, a hot, Earth-sized but incredibly dense star. Over trillions of years, it cools into a dead black dwarf. The ring nebula is actually the glowing remains of a star like our Sun. But for massive stars, the ending is very different. These giants keep fusing heavier elements until they form iron in the core. Iron is special because it does not release energy when fused, so fusion stops. The balancing outward pressure disappears, gravity takes over, and the core collapses instantly. Imagine an entire star collapsing in less than a second. The core shrinks so rapidly that it creates a violent rebound, a shockwave, blasting the star's outer layers into space. This colossal explosion is called a supernova. Alright, so let's talk about the main types of supernovae in a simple way. First, there's the core collapse supernova. also called Type 2. This one happens in massive stars when their iron core collapses, and honestly, it's pretty wild. This type of explosion spreads heavy elements like gold, uranium, and iron out into space. Then, there's the thermonuclear supernova, or Type 1a. This one occurs when a white dwarf in a binary system, basically a pair of stars, steals too much matter from its companion. Once it crosses a limit, called the Chandrasekhar limit, which is about 1.4 times the mass of our Sun, the entire star undergoes runaway fusion and explodes. Astronomers actually use Type Ia supernovae to measure distances in the universe, since they explode with a predictable brightness. So, what exactly is left after a supernova? Well, it really depends on the mass of the core that's left behind. If the core is between about 1.4 and 3 times the mass of our Sun, it becomes a neutron star, an object so dense that, get this, a single teaspoon of its material would weigh billions of tons. Some neutron stars spin really fast and shoot out beams of radio waves. These are called pulsars. But if the core is even more massive, gravity just takes over completely, collapsing it into a black hole, a region where not even light can escape. Now, why should we even care about supernovae? Well, they're not just explosions, they're creators too. Heavy elements like the iron in our blood, the gold in our jewelry, and the calcium in our bones were all made inside massive stars and supernova. These explosions enrich space with new materials, which helps form new stars, planets, and eventually, life itself. So, in a way, every human being carries the ashes of ancient stars. This, right here, is the complete life cycle of stars, from silent clouds to blazing giants to universe-shaping explosions. If you found this journey interesting, remember, your one like, share, and subscribe will help us create more valuable content.